We trust, House Republicans trust the American people to draw their own conclusions. They should not be dictated by some narrative and accept that as fact. So they can review the tapes themselves. We're going through a methodical process of releasing them as quickly as we can. As you know, we have to blur some of the faces of persons who participated in the events of that day, because we don't want them to be retaliated against and to be charged by the DOJ and to have other concerns and problems.
Yeah, he's just saying it. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, we are going to try to protect from legal consequences those who tried to overturn the election, those who participated in a coup, who are on film committing crimes. We don't want there to be retaliation. That's terrible, and there was a lot of pushback against that. And I want you to understand, he is not saying we have footage of people who are just there and aren't doing anything, and we don't want them to face social, familial retaliation. He said from the DOJ. And the only way you would suffer consequences from the DOJ is if there is evidence in the video of you committing a crime. He was very specific. And now they are specifically running as far from that as they can, because a spokesperson for the speaker, Raj Shah, said, faces are to be blurred from public viewing room footage to prevent all forms of retaliation against private citizens from any non-governmental actors. The Department of Justice already has access to raw footage from January 6th. So you know that thing where we said we want to protect them from the DOJ? We mean from everything else that we already gave it to the DOJ. You'll understand why I'm a bit confused, because that's the exact opposite of what he said yesterday. Sharon, what do you make of this?
I make of it that I really just want to see the footage of them running, the Congress people running for their lives that day. I don't know if they had to go to the bathroom or if it was not a peaceful protest, okay? And if he wants to blur all these faces, I don't know how they're gonna finally catch Antifa. Remember, Antifa was behind this whole thing, and you need to let us see all of the footage so Antifa can finally get what's coming to them for causing this national embarrassment and just death and destruction.
I think it's a great point. Clearly, he's a rhino, because he's pretending to be a conservative, but he's protecting commie scum. Also, by the way, how are we going to track down the thousands of FBI agents who are undercover in the crowd causing all of it? No Trump person did it. It's all FBI agents. Why is he protecting the FBI provocateurs who did this? Weird. I hope he faces tough questions from his base about that, who definitely know that what they say about it being Antifa isn't true. Anyway, we'll see what comes of this. He successfully worked with the Democrats to fund the government, so that's I guess a point in his favor. But now he's trying to maybe balance out the scales by telling the right that we're going to protect the coup, participants from consequences. Well, he is going to go a little bit further. He's going to attack the January 6th committee. Let's watch that.
I think the January 6th committee was a partisan exercise. They claim that it was bipartisan, but I think we all recognize that the two Republican members that served on that committee had another agenda. I think that what we got was a biased report. I think they hid some of the important evidence. And look, we want the American people to draw their own conclusions. I don't think partisan elected officials in Washington should present a narrative and expect that it should be seen as the ultimate truth on it when we know that they hid certain elements.
You're blurring faces and you're worried about hiding certain elements. That seems a little weird to me. Pointless fact check here, and I only mention this because I know that Sharon likes fact checks. They tried to have more Republicans on the January 6th committee. They tried to have it be equal, and you guys refused to allow that. And we knew then why they were refusing it, so that they could say what they're saying now. They can say it was biased, even though, again, it was in fact bipartisan regardless. That's their easy get out of jail free card, I suppose, for it. But anyway, it just, my gut is to say, how could this possibly work? We know what happened on January 6th. No amount of footage selectively shot from early on from one camera that shows some people who aren't beating a cop to death is going to cancel out those who were using Trump flags to bludgeon the life from law enforcement, who were breaking through windows, breaking down doors, chanting that they wanted to hang people, chasing after people through the halls. All of that exists no matter how much footage you think you have from 40 1,000 hours of footage that doesn't include that. And yet I also know that it will work. It doesn't matter because the vast majority of them didn't see any of that. They were protected, coddled. They were swaddled by Fox News and guarded against reality. And it'll be easier to convince them of this than, remember, there's so many people that coming out of over 1 million dead from COVID just in the US think that the vaccine was the thing that killed everybody. Like, we are an incredibly dumb country. We are a propagandized to and enthusiastic consumer of propaganda type of political culture. That's what we are. We want to be manipulated. We want to be deceived so that we can feel warm and fuzzy. We don't want cognitive dissonance, and Fox News and people like Mike Johnson are great protectors from conservatives ever experiencing that unfortunate and uncomfortable psychological state. Sharon?
We consume too much reality television. It started about a decade and a half ago, and now we're living in a cesspool of reality shows. This is like that new one that they have going. Obviously, I'm a consumer too, sorry, where they took all the worst villains and put them in a house from all the reality shows. That's what we're living like. When you played that clip, I somehow was like channeling that I'm a casting director and I am casting the part of Mike Johnson. And I almost wanted to tell them, go bigger, just a little bit, not too much, but just go a little bit bigger. This whole thing is a reality show, as was that fake attempt to even out the January 6th committee and put the wrestling coach on it, okay? And we knew the wrestling coach would not be on it because the wrestling coach can't tell the truth and he likes to grandstand. So yeah, this is your life. America, look at your life.
Yeah, a guy who refused to protect, college athletes can probably not be trusted to protect American democracy, would be my guess. Yeah, I agree. And I haven't watched House of Villains, but I am part of the problem.
That part.
I do watch a little bit of Fixer Upper sometimes.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.